What am I doing with my life? Holy crap, I'm on this pursuit for like 20-year-old LCD monitors that are 5:4 or 4:3 aspect ratio that has inputs that I could use retro consoles on. I know a lot of people are like, this is stupid. But you know what? You guys are coming along for the ride with me here because I got another one. And this is the Samsung SyncMaster 910MP. From what I understand, the MP on these monitors means multi-purpose. They were TVs, essentially. They had a TV tuner built into them, so when you could actually get channels fed through the air, you could, use this as a TV and watch some local channels. We previously looked at this SyncMaster 152MP, and I love this little bastard. I just wish the screen wasn't damaged. I really wish I could find another one of these. This one, I believe, was 15 inches. And it just works. Some people are like, why do you even want this crap? Well, I just have this idea. I know, man, there's so many ways to have a console plugged into a different TV, a CRT. I have that little CRT in the corner over there. And my thought was I just want to have like a little corner, a little nook, if you will, with a little LCD 4.3 or this one's 5.4 and have, a Super Nintendo or an NES plugged to it. Really an NES because I have so many damn NES systems. I just want to have like, hey, a little dedicated NES corner. And the pursuit's not going to end with this one because I have messed with this, the SyncMaster 910MP, and I almost really want to love it, but I can't. And I have one more I'm looking for. And as soon as I find it, you're going to know what I'm talking about because it's just going to work, I think. This one, I was intrigued because this was released in the US and it was a lot of money when it came out from what I understand. It's kind of has that little tilt, but that's about it, right? But you may be looking at this thing and being like, what is that down there? This thing has a SCART plug. Look at that, SCART plug. You could plug in SCART. It says EXT RGB. I was like, really? There's not very many monitors they released in the US that had a SCART input. So this has S-Video, composite, SCART, and then your VGA type thing, power, and then antenna in. I was like, dude, there's no way. So when I got this thing, I'm going to go ahead and power it on right now. But when I got this thing, I was like, RGB, SCART. I plugged it in. I have a SCART cable and nothing. I found out you have to set this to, there's like language options or region options. You have to set it to a European country for it to recognize that input. And then it works. It's weird. But it's fascinating. It just works. It looks okay, but I'm going to show you an issue I have. But let me plug this thing in. The audio is pretty good too. You got virtual Dolby surround, this BBE digital, which I think it kind of boosts things, and it sounds pretty good. So there's our power. Let's turn it on. Should be a blue screen. And there's not much in the way of issues with the screen from what I've seen. Like there might be a couple messed up pixels, but not really much that you could notice. Like there's no pressure spots or damage like this one had. It looked good. And you got some basic options. It doesn't have the cool little like touch sensitive buttons. You actually have to press these buttons. It did originally come with a remote and I don't have one. So I don't know if there's like a service menu, like a technician menu you can get into. I've been trying to find out if there is, but I haven't found information online. Like this is from like 2006, I believe it was. 2005. So you got some basic menu options for audio and whatnot, OSD, and that's it. So let's go ahead and plug this in. I have my Super Nintendo this time. I'm going to show you. We have S-Video. I have my official Hori licensed Nintendo Super Famicom S-Video cable. We're going to use that. And where is she? The Insurrection Industries SCART cable, whatever this thing is. SCART. Let's plug this thing in first. SCART. But I was reading online. So this is a custom cart from Retro Circuits. From what I was reading online, a lot of people say using any of the options on this, it's kind of like it doesn't really matter a lot. But I did notice with the SCART cable, the colors and everything looks a little better than composite or S-Video. But let's jump into a game real quick. There's the audio about halfway. I think the audio sounds pretty damn good. If you change this to dynamic, the color, oh my God, it is like way blown out. Like that's what it was on. When I first got this, it was on dynamic, and I was like, man, these colors are ridiculous. I think just leaving it the standard or customizing it some way may be better, but I'm gonna leave it at standard for now. But look, I want something like this in the corner. It looks cool, it looks great, but I have an issue with it. Watch, you'll see. You know, if you notice, you'll notice. You should. I don't think yeah, you should have noticed it right then. Hopefully my camera is capturing that, because yeah, you see that horizontal, that line where it's like the refresh goes up through, like it's refreshing the screen. It happens no matter what. If I'm in, you know, SCART, if I have this set to US, Europe, it doesn't matter. If I have an S-video composite, you get those wavy lines going through. I do have like the service manual that gives all the information. I'll overlay it on the screen, but it says it has like an 8 millisecond response time, 700:1 contrast ratio, 5:4 aspect ratio, 1280 by 1024 resolution. The one that I want to get is 1600 by 1200. We'll be discussing that in the future. What else does it have? It has a VESA wall mount, analog RGB, CVBS, S-video, TV antenna, SCART. And these things, man, they take up a lot of power. This like sucks up 49 watts, whereas like newer monitors and TVs is a fraction of that. But there's some kind of issue here with the refresh or something with the way the screen is refreshing, because I'll see those lines through. Latency doesn't feel too bad, but those lines, it just happened again. Every game, I even played Famicom on here, and it does the same thing. And it's very distracting, especially, you know, seeing, you know, NES games do that, like Super Mario 3 and stuff like this. But you'll see it on any game. If I had the NES plugged in, it'll be the same thing. Some games it seems to happen more so on. Like Super Nintendo, it seems more frequent than the NES, but it still happens quite often, and it's very distracting. So definitely, I would not recommend this monitor. There you go, waved through. I would not recommend this monitor for any lunatic who wants to use an old monitor for retro games. The picture quality looks okay. You know, I'm sure there's a little bit of ghosting, but it doesn't look bad to me. Like, I could be fine with this if it didn't have that weird syncing, refresh, whatever it is. I'm not a rocket scientist when it comes to monitors, but I know what I want, and I know that's not what I want. Let me switch to S-video real quick. Okay, so here's the back here. You can have the SCART cable and these guys plugged in, but the right audio kind of butts into that a little bit. I love this little cable box thing, this thing's old, but just kind of, you spool it back in there, release it, how much length you need. But we can have them plugged in at the same time, but let me go ahead and just swap real quick. So this is RGB or SCART, whatever. And then, there we go. Not as vibrant. Actually, some people might prefer this over the way the SCART cable looked. See, do you see those lines waving through? I think that's something to do with the way the screen refreshes. And I can't find anybody complaining about that for this particular monitor online. It could be maybe a cap, like it needs to be recapped or something on the board that's in the things. I've seen plenty of videos of people recapping this monitor because they had issues, but not this particular issue. So yeah, I don't know if it's just related to the resolution, the refresh rate, the systems I'm using. I've used both Super Nintendo and NES, and it's the same thing. Every way I plug it in. So yeah, this monitor, it looks decent, but just that one issue, I can't deal with it, man. So I got another monitor. It's actually a Dell monitor that I have in mind that I'm going to be grabbing, and we'll be talking about hopefully in the very near future. I just got to find one. It's the Dell Ultra Sharp. 2007, I think. That's the one I want to mess with. And I looked for one today. I couldn't find one locally, but I will eventually find one. And we'll compare. But yeah, I'm a little crazy looking for an old ass monitor to play retro games on, just because I want to have that little corner set up of oh crap, of an NES or Super Nintendo. You know, whatever, man. Leave me alone. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you on the next one.